Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome. Ooh, my audio sounds a little loud. How's everybody's Saturday doing today? Or doing today on this Saturday? Sorry, I'm trying to tune the audio. I moved my computer, and of course, everything is totally different. Does my voice sound like way, like poppy and crackly? Hope you guys are doing well today. I'm doing quite well myself. We're gonna get started in just a moment, just doing some final setup here. Audio is good? Okay. In my headphones, it's like blaring. Alright, so we're going to get underway in just a moment. We got 61 people watching. I just want to give people a moment to get in here. We are going to be doing a full, comprehensive, overall look at Trainz 2019. Can't hear me over the music. Alright, let me turn it up. How's this? Is this better? I can turn the music down a bit, too. You'll see in just a moment that I redid my office and kind of reset up my computer, and my whole setup is all different, so everything got re-screwed up, and this is the first time I'm streaming or doing anything with any of that, so since then. So I'm gonna go ahead and just transition over into what we're gonna be looking at here, and we can get underway in just a moment. So yeah, today we're going to be taking a look at Trainz 2019. Full disclosure for you guys, N3V was kind enough to send me a copy to review for free. So I just figured I should let you guys know that. It's not going to affect how I review this game at all. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. We're all going to look at it together and decide, what we think about it. My plan is to take a look at pretty much everything, all the settings. Content manager is exactly the same, so I can tell you that right off the bat. But I want to go through and take a look at all the new settings for lighting, the TurfFX thing. I want to look at some of the built-in content, and just kind of get an overall idea of how the game looks and how it's going to function as well. So we will get started in a second here. I'm just going to look at the chat. How's the D-Bev? Yeah, we're going to get started on that as a series very soon, probably in the next couple of weeks. And the plan for that is, I don't really know what the plan is for that, but we're going to get started with that very soon as a series. And that's going to actually be right after I do the P&B cinematics. So that's coming up soon. That's the next thing, is going to be P&B cinematics, and then we can get started on the D-Bev. I've just been really busy trying to get the P&B ready so that I can release it to you guys. So I made a bunch of sessions and all this other stuff. Anyway, that aside, we can talk about that later. Let's get started with Trainz 2019. Actually, I'm going to put in the description below my computer settings, or my computer specs, so if anybody asks. So I'm rocking a i7 at 7700K at 4.45 gigahertz. And then I have a 1080 Ti and 32 gigabytes of RAM. So I think that should maybe save. Yeah, it says all changes saved. So my computer specs are in the little description box below. And also, before we get started, I want to thank Reggie's Trainz is a new sponsor for the channel. So thank you, Reggie. Appreciate it, and I love the work that you do. If you do decide to sponsor the channel, you get the green text, you get an approach medium icon, and my undying love. So thank you, Reggie, and thank you to the other sponsors as well. All right, let's get into this. So this is the launch window here, Trainz 2019. I do have to turn the volume down on this. Hold on one sec. everything going into my headphones is way too loud. All right. Trainz 2019, launcher window. Here it is. We could just take a look at the content manager, which is exactly the same. And I'll tell you, this is the first time that I'm actually going to be looking at this game. I haven't done anything to it. I launched it just to make sure that it works. And I installed the PNB and the Drybrook route, both into here along with the content that was needed to run them. I figured it'd be kind of cool to look at a route that we're familiar with. And that said, if we look at the PNB, let's see if we can find it here. You'll see it's a lot of red. And this is what I found interesting, is that I installed all of the content. I made a bunch of content packs, and I installed everything basically, and I still ended up with 88 unknown assets. And I think this is going to be really important for you guys to know this. The 88 assets that I'm missing are actually assets that were built into Trainz: A New Era, and are apparently not built into Trainz 2019. So I don't know if there's a solution for that, or if N3V is going to be adding those built-in assets, but as of right now, a lot of the built-in stuff, and some of it was like textures, some of it was like some buildings, but I don't know. It's not in Trainz 2019. So I think that's important for you guys to know. If you're going to be moving a map from Trainz: A New Era into Trainz 19, you will experience some missing dependencies. And again, I don't know what the solution is, because I don't think that you can actually export built-in content from Trainz: A New Era into Trainz 2019. So no idea what the solution is going to be there, but we'll figure it out eventually. So let's close that out. We're going to take a look here at the Trainz settings that I'll be using, and I'm just going to do this as an overview so you guys have a mental picture of exactly what I'm working with here. I'm going to start off with basically all of the settings maxed out, and then we're going to go kind of from there and see what we can do. So this is the performance settings that I have: shadow quality on ultra, shadow resolution 4096, shaders are on ultra, texture detail high, post-processing ultra, water quality ultra. Detail scenery, we've got Clutter and TurfFX turned on, so that's one of the new features here. Anti-aliasing I have on 8x, and detail update rate on ultra. Now, most of these settings are the same as I had for Tane. I think the only difference is the shader quality. This is a new setting, so I'm not really too sure what's going to be affected here. And I think I usually have post-processing on ultra. And everything else. So pretty much all the settings should be the same as Tane. I've got texture streaming turned off and process objects behind camera turned on. And I think use multiple render threads. I don't know if that's good to have on or have off. So we'll play with that a little bit, I guess. So let's get it started here. Now, I have no idea what kind of lag this is going to cause, just in terms of being able to live stream this as well as play it at the same time. So if it is a little bit laggy, I'll let you know if it's through the broadcast or if it's through the game itself. So I'll keep you posted on that. I need to get, if I'm going to be doing this kind of stuff, I need to get like a real stream deck or something like that, because right now just streaming right out of my computer is can be a little problematic. And in fact, actually, I might be able to, let me launch Bandicam, because I might be able to get a frame rate put in there that you guys can see. Let me get that going. I don't know if it's going to broadcast it or not. We'll see. I'm going to bring back up this window. All right, so I've got Bandicam going, and I think, yeah, so you can see the frame rate in the top left corner in green there. All right, so this is our, I guess, our main menu window. So the background is animated, which I find interesting. It is not as laggy as I'm seeing in the broadcast stream there, so keep that in mind. Driver and surveyor. So this is a new interface. I think it's interesting. I'm not sure. I guess I don't know what this whole menu system is here. So I guess this is the rail yard feature. Again, like I said, I'm exploring this for the first time with you guys as well, so my commentary might be a little bit sparse and sporadic as I kind of try to figure out exactly what we're looking at each time. So these must be built-in consists that you could probably plop down in Surveyor or in Driver. Let's see what other options here. We've got all consists, locomotives, rolling stock, routes, sessions, and tutorials. So that's kind of interesting. You can look at some of the stuff that's in here. It's kind of funny. I think some of these assets are assets that I installed along with the P&B or the D-Bev. Yeah, so that's interesting. So if it's built in, if you've got built-in content, it displays it actually in the rail yard versus something that is not built in, you see as just a thumbnail. So that's interesting. That'll be interesting for content creators. I don't know what all this is about. Sorry, my phone is lighting up. I should just put it face down. Again, the lag I think that you're seeing in the broadcast is from the broadcast, not necessarily the game. I'm actually getting pretty smooth frame rate right now. You can see it's 38, 40s, around that. So anyway, let's get right into the routes. I just want to see what this is. I see that there's this first thing here, content samples number 1. Getting the small details close to the ground correct is essential to making the world look and feel as real as possible. This route has been designed to show off the finer details of content creation. In the route, you'll find many small snippets of new and existing content that allows you to see how it has been created, enabling you to learn from and start to piece together your own detailed environments. All right, so let's check this out. I just want to get kind of an idea of what this looks like, what the settings I have, and then we'll start kind of tweaking stuff. And we have 120 people watching right now. That's awesome. I think this is certainly a new world record for myself. World record. It's a personal record. That's awesome. Thank you for joining me, everybody. I don't know if I've said that already, but I'm glad you guys all could make it on this Saturday afternoon in the summer. All right, here we go. So I guess this is just to show off all of, well, or some of the new assets that are in here. And I think this, yeah, so this is a new I think this is a PBR texture, right? Is that what they call it? So this is actually a texture, but it has a 3D appearance to it, which I think is pretty neat. I like the idea of that. I don't know how many people are going to be able to make use of that sort of thing. But that's pretty cool. So instead of actually having to put down a bunch of rocks and stuff like that, you could actually just put a texture down and get a neat sort of look, which I think that that'll make content creation in Surveyor a little bit more simplified. It'd be interesting to see what people come up with. I guess these are some of the built-in rocks. Let's see here. So this is actually really laggy for me right now. 25 frames or so. Changing this would require a route resave and clone and will not proceed. Do you want to unlock? No, let's not bother. I just kind of want to see what this stuff is. So we're just going to fly around a little bit. This is kind of laggy for me. Like, it's not laggy, it's a little stuttery. It's kind of cool with the sheen on the top of the rails. I do like that. I don't know necessarily about this particular track, but I think that that is kind of a cool effect. I'm going to try to go slow just to mitigate as much of the lag as possible. My internet is plugged in. I am hardwired, so I am doing the streaming at the best that I can given my internet quality and all that kind of stuff. So I do apologize if it does get a little jerky. This must be some of the built-in trains down here. So I do like, from what I've seen, and I'm seeing it for the first time here in person, that kind of shine from the PBR. I do like that, like this kind of glow. I think it needs to be tuned up a little tiny bit, and during the stream I want to investigate that and see like what we can do with the lighting, and just see how it configures and stuff like that. But I do like the PBR textures. I think that is a really, really nice addition. I mean, you could see like dirt on the window there. That is really cool. Let's try to get a close-up of that. I think that is amazing. I really like that a lot, actually. I think that is a cool detail. Obviously, it's not something that's super noticeable, but, you know, just a little tiny bit of grime like that, I think adds just another layer of realism, which I think is pretty cool. for me. And this is like the base. This is the beginning. So I think a lot, as time goes by, same thing that happened with Trainz and New Era. Once we learn how to like exploit some of these new tools and shaders and stuff like that, and fine tune everything, I think it's there could be a lot of potential here. It could also be completely broken too. I don't know. We'll see once we start trying to do anything. But that's really cool. I like that. That's a really nice little detail touch. And even in the whoops, let's try to back up a little bit. Even right on the edge of the metal here, just to see that texture and that shine. I think that's cool. It might be a little bit too shiny for a locomotive. I don't think I've ever seen a locomotive with such shine. But I think that's cool. There's potential there. And leave it to N3V to put a bunch of, like, I don't know what this is, like European or Russian rolling stock behind a Canadian national engine. Oh man, I wish they would learn a little bit about US equipment. So now this is the big thing that N3V was pushing here, this Rocky Mountaineer train. And I know a lot of people have been kind of ripping it apart on the forums and on Discord and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna comment too much on that. I don't wanna rip anything apart. But I will say I think that they could have done a little bit of a better job with these models. But it's not uncommon for N3V to not have some of the best built-in content. So in my opinion, it's just something to get you started and get you going. And the real good stuff out there is being made by the community. People like the back shops and Jointed Rail and Trainz Forge. VK 10.99. I think that's pounds. Is that European? Thank you very much for the top chat there, or the donation. Do appreciate it. Everybody give VK some love in the chat, please. So yeah, I guess this is the consist, and I think there's ways to get into it, which we'll take a look at, like to actually ride in the consist. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Yeah, we are in Surveyor right now, just checking out this map. And you know what? Actually, that's a good idea. Let's go into driver mode. I don't want to save this though. Let's exit this. Let's go into driver mode because we might be able to look at this a little tiny bit better. So how do you do that? That is a good question. Drive session. Okay, so you have to double click into it. Man, my coffee's getting cold already. Coffee's getting cold and I'm sweating. It's hot in here. All right, so let's take a look at driver in this little map here and see what this looks like. You can only ride in the big dome cars. Interesting. Okay, well, we'll take a look at that. All right, so right in, at least in this session, as soon as we go in, it actually has the, whatever you would call that sort of thing popped out. Let's go into free flying mode. So now this is interesting. I've seen some screenshots of the new driver interface, and I'm not totally sure how I feel about it. I guess I would need to drive in it to see. And look at that, even the little dude's icon moves around. I thought it was moving with the camera. That's kind of weird. It's kind of creepy. That dude's kind of scary looking. All right, so let's take a look at that same engine in driver. So yeah, we could see a lot of that dirt, same texturing, that light. Pretty cool. These consists are just cracking me up, though. They get all this Russian, European stuff behind CSX and Canadian Nationals. That's all right. I mean, I guess they're looking at the, they're just trying to show off what you got built in here. So, just an overview. I don't know about this grid either. I saw some screenshots of this, and I don't know why they insisted on adding, like, these bolts. Like, there was nothing wrong with the grid that we had before. Definitely, I mean, this just adds more distraction, in my opinion. The grid should just be a very basic gray and, yellow and gray grid. We don't need these extra, like, button things here every 4 feet. Unnecessary, I think. See, even moving around, that is just incredibly distracting. So we got some of the JR buildings built in. So these are some of those new downtown buildings. I've been using them on the D-Bev and the P&B for Trainz: A New Era, and they are built in here, which is pretty cool. But I don't know if they're actually updated with like PBR textures. It doesn't look like it. I think they're just, I think these are just the base textures. It's not bad. This is a cool little looking shed. And this must be this TurfFX stuff here. Let's take a look at that. That's kind of cool. I definitely want to take a look at like how to use this. But this grass actually looks not bad. I don't know, like I said, my computer, I've got a 1080 Ti, so my machine can handle this sort of processing pretty decently. I wish I had maybe another computer to do like a real benchmark test, you know, with like a lower end graphics card or medium graphics card, just to see what the performance is actually like. So overall, I mean, with this, the lighting in here, I think is cool. I think it could be tuned up a little tiny bit, and I want to take a look at that in a minute. I think this is more of this TurfFX stuff. We got a horse here. That's actually kind of cool. I wonder if the horse has shine. Let's see. No, but it does look pretty good. That horse actually doesn't look bad at all. It's even got teeth. That's actually pretty nice. I definitely don't, I would not mind seeing more content like this. Just to bring, you know, your maps more to life. I mean, you could add all the people that you want and all the animals that you want, but if they're not animated, you know, and they're static, I think that's just kind of, I don't know, kind of strange. But let's take a look here at how this TurfFX stuff renders, what the loads are like. So I'm just going to scroll out slowly. And you can still see it there, like a hint of it as we get further away. So I think the level of detail is, it's actually changing pretty smoothly. Maybe if I hold shift and do page down. That's a little bit too slow. Yeah, it's a little too slow. But the levels of detail are actually not too bad in terms of going in and out. How that is going to look like in a map when you're playing, I'm not sure. We'll have to do some experimenting with it and kind of see how it works. I mean, that's not terrible. I don't know. All right, let's see what else we could look at here. Got some, I see a bird shadow, so there's a bird flying around somewhere. There he is. Oh, but it disappeared when I zoomed in on it. All right, so there's a bird here, but it's an eagle, it looks like. It seems to have some load issues. That's not bad. It was kind of appearing and disappearing, though. All right, let's take a look over here. Not bad. Some of the brights are a little bit too bright, I think. This stuff looks kind of cool. This truck is pretty cool. So, now, you know, stuff like this, N3V, they put this in here, but there's only probably like a handful of content that looks like this right now. So it's really more almost as a demo to show off what you can do. And I would love to see, man, can you imagine if there was more assets like that out there? Like some beat up sheds and buildings with, you know, paint flecks coming off and this sort of level of texturing and stuff like that. Man, and the rust on here? Imagine freight cars looking like this? That would be incredible. That would be pretty cool. All right, let's see. We've got some animated sheep, which actually don't look half bad either. Their loads seem okay. I definitely, whatever this grass and shrubbery or trees or whatever this is, looks awful. Definitely don't like this at all. It looks like it's, I don't even know. It looks like it's made out of like Brillo pads or something. All right, let's see. Sean Dias in the chat there. Glad to hear, dude. Glad to hear you started your own channel and I've been an inspiration for you. I always like getting that kind of feedback. Good luck with your YouTube. And good luck with building in Trainz. Oh, we got some desert stuff over here. Now this is interesting. This would be cool, you know, if I was to ever do like a remake of Needles or something like that, you know? These cactuses look really nice. I mean, there's a lot of detail in there. I have no idea, like, once you fill up a map with this kind of stuff, though, like, how is that, you know, how's that going to affect performance? What's that going to do to everything? But I think this is kind of cool. I do like this a lot. Some of this ground texture PBR. I think this is PBR ground texture. If I'm wrong, somebody just correct me in the chat. I think this is PBR based ground texturing, which I think is cool. Shrubs seem to be dancing around a little tiny bit. They kind of look like sea anemones. Kind of funny. So that's kind of cool. Got a beach scene over here. So see, this is what's really interesting about this, is that it looks like the ground is actually, you know, roughed up, but as you can see, I'm moving smoothly over top of it. So it's just a texturing thing. How that works, I have no idea, because it's actually creating shadows and highlights, and the water is interacting with it too. So I have no clue how that works, but I think that that's really great. I think that that'll be interesting to route build with. I do wish it was a little bit more gentle in terms of all of the sort of like creases and that sort of thing. But I think that'll be fun to mess around with. This is a little bit too bright, I think, but again, that has to do with the lighting that we have it set here. Same with this one, looks a little bit too bright. But again, a lot of that has to do with the lighting. Got a lot of rocks here, which look good. I'm excited about some new rocks. So that's cool. Let's come back over here really quick. I think these are some signs that are going to be built in. These are some JR signs, if I'm not mistaken. I do remember them making these. So those are cool. All right, so what should we do here? Oh, this is the track. Let's see what this built-in track looks like. Totally missed that. That's not terrible. The ballast looks a little chunky, but that's not bad. I don't think that that's American track, though. The tie plates, is that what those are called? They look a little bit different. So we got that kind of glow on here too, which is kind of cool. I think it's a little bit too soft. Like, it kind of reminds me, like, if you had a smudge on your camera lens and you took a picture of something that had like glow on it, you'd get that kind of sort of soft edge look to it. But I don't think it's awful. It doesn't bother me too much. I think maybe we can tune it up, which is what I want to try to do in a moment here. Okay, so we got that. What track is this? Yeah, again, this is not too bad, but I think the tie plates are off. The ballast looks pretty good. It's got some dimension to it. I think it's using the PBR texturing as well. So that's pretty nice. Let's see, what do we got here? These are looking pretty good. You guys can probably hear the cicadas outside my window. I've got my window open next to me, and they're like, those things are just so loud. This is a little bit of ambiance. A nice medium gray ballast here. This is definitely a different type of tie plate. I'm not so well versed in track to know, like, if it's German or Russian or, you know, Canadian. I know they're all a little bit different. I think JR is working on some more American track with the PBR textures, but I cannot confirm that. All right, so let's see what the interior... Oh, whoa, that was weird. So this is the interior of the Rocky Mountaineer. Some pretty decent detailing. It's not awful. I don't know if I have the game sound on. I usually have it turned down or turned off. Oh, I forgot to mention, these are the settings that I'm working with right now within the game. So everything is maxed out. All the sliders are set to ultra. I did turn down the draw distance to 4,000 meters. It was automatically set to 6,000, which I don't know. One thing that I would really like to know is what computers N3V is making this game on, because with some of these settings, like, I know I'm gonna get lag out of it, and I have a pretty good computer, so I'm curious of like what they're running this thing on. All right, let's turn this sound up. I don't know if this is gonna be too loud. Let's blow the horn. All right. I mean, like, the texturing and stuff in here on the console looks pretty good. I don't know if this has that, what is that, free roaming camera? Where is that in here? I'll probably be staring right at it and miss it. General settings? Oh, I do have it enabled. How do you do that? How do you move around inside the cab? This is me hitting the plus and minus button. I see the chair moves, but how do I don't really know how to move around. Oh, here we go. Shift. Oh, the arrow keys. Okay, you just move the arrow keys. Okay, so that's interesting. You can actually leave the train. Okay. Interesting. I didn't realize that you could do that. So there's a look at the cab. Not, you know, it's not like Train Sim World where you can open up these consoles and hit all these buttons and change fuses and God knows what else. Which I personally I don't think is completely necessary to do. I do want to see what the... So you guys said we can go into the dome cars. Interesting, okay. This, you know, I could see why people would want this. I mean, it's kind of interesting if you wanted to, like, ride through your route from the perspective of a passenger. But for me, I have absolutely no use for it. But somebody else might find it useful. I'm gonna guess I could probably just walk right out of here, just like the engine. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess that sort of opens up some potential for other things. Maybe interiors. I don't know if this is limited to just rolling stock, but maybe interiors for cabooses would be interesting. Or one thing that comes to mind is interiors for like a control tower or a switching tower or a yard office or something like that. Could be interesting. I guess there's no way to get out of here. Can I just go right into the next car? I can. So I am getting a pretty good stable frame rate. Anywhere, but actually it's not stable at all. Anywhere between 90 frames and as low as 66 frames. I do see a little bit of lag spikes in the broadcast stream over there, so that's probably internet based. Okay, so that's that. Let's take a look at, I believe these are JR engines. Now I just hit the one button and this is the first view that I get. I don't know if it's loading the cab. I guess I'm inside the engine right now. So maybe this is a bug. Oh, yeah, so that seems a little fishy. I think N3V, if you're watching this, that might be a bug. Alright, not bad. So I'm curious also what this is DCC mode. How do you switch into regular mode? Where would that be? Coupler. I just want to see what the interface looks like down here. That's the bell. Change its direction. Maybe I don't have the option. Okay, so you can show and hide that. That's interesting. Change control mode. Ah, here we go. Okay. So supposedly this works with Rail Driver also, which I do not have. My Rail Driver is tucked away right now, so I'm not going to test that. I just wanted to see what this interface looks like. Let's go from the exterior view. I guess it's a little less intrusive with regards to like screen real estate. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about that. What is the... Now, how do you give driver commands? Ah, interesting. So this is a little bit different. I'm kind of liking the flat look of the interface. I think it's a little bit better. We've been looking at this sort of like bubbly, I don't know, very dated looking interface for a long time. So I'm kind of okay with this new flat sort of look. I am just not sure. These people are kind of creepy looking though, I'm not gonna lie. They're a little weird. I think they're too bright. Like everybody's skin is just very overexposed. But I'm curious here. Remove driver from train. Get off train. Move to destination. Focus on driver. But now if I wanted to give them commands, you know, like drive to, and can you not do that from here? Interesting. So maybe, is that something that you have to enable? This adds a new driver. So maybe it's disabled for this, or maybe if it still exists, it shouldn't be this difficult to figure out how to do it. Like I'm trying to right click, and I'm not getting any of that. All right, so let's get out of this. Let's take a look at a map. Well, let me think here. Now, how do I back up out of this? I have to go up a tier. So I guess these are screenshots. Ah, okay, so I have to go, you have to navigate through this. Interesting. All right, so let's take a look at the P&B. Let's just see what this looks like, because we're all familiar with the P&B. We know what it looks like. So let's see what it looks like here with the new settings. And just a disclaimer: the P&B is, I'm not going to move it to Trainz 2019 just yet, or for a while. I'm going to keep it in Trainz: A New Era. So it's going to be released for Trainz: A New Era, and then the next builds will continue to be for Trainz: A New Era. Because I know a lot of you are using Trainz: A New Era, and then there's also still a lot of you that are using Trainz 12. So I will keep it at Trainz: A New Era for a while. All right, so again, there was a lot of stuff missing. This is looking a lot like the P&B did when I first started doing YouTube, with all the missing textures and everything. So that kind of stinks. Again, we'll have to figure out exactly what the issue is with those missing assets. I don't think there was any errors with any of the assets that I installed here. It was all just missing built-in stuff. And it looks like there's a lot of missing stuff. So right now I'm getting about 15 frames per second. And you know what? I was actually getting a lot of lag here in Tane as well. So maybe this isn't the best place to do this, but... Oh man, this grass looks terrible. And it's very foggy. So I didn't change... Again, I ported this right in here directly from Trainz: A New Era. So this is all the lighting settings and everything that existed in Trainz: A New Era. I'll tell you what, let's go to Vonnie, because I usually get a pretty good frame rate there, and that's a nicely detailed area as well. We'll go over here. Assuming anything actually exists. Looks like I'm missing a bunch of track, which is lovely. Wow, this is just painful to look at. Very painful to look at. All right, so I guess we'll look over here. I want to take a look at the lighting, and try to get an idea of what it looks like. So definitely not in love with the way this looks. I'll stop moving around in a second. I'm just trying to find like a good frame. All right, so let's do this first. Let's go to edit environment. I'm only getting 16 frames per second here, so this is very laggy for me, which is unfortunate. My brother is watching watching my stream. He just texted me. Alright, let's see. So I think the shadows are cool. Again, I think that there's a lot of potential, and we're going to have to do some tweaking in order to exploit that potential. I do want to investigate to see if there's point lighting in here. It does not look like whatever is in here has been adapted for point lighting, but that's not a surprise. Let's just look at different times of day. I'm just going to kind of scrub through here. I like the shadows. I think the highlights are going to need to be adjusted, and same thing with the fog. Let's just see what nighttime looks like with the default settings that I've got here. All right, so assets that I have here obviously don't have point lighting. They weren't made with point lighting, so... and I don't know if point lighting is in this game. I'm hoping it is, but I'm not getting my hopes too high. But we're going to check that out soon. All right, so what I want to do is take a look at... normally when I'm doing my builds, I have the time set to like 1 or 2 p.m. But actually we'll go here because that's where the little thing is. I want to just sort of play... Oh, I have to select the thing. Sort of play with what this looks like, just to see what we could do here. And I might have to adjust, you know what I'll do, because this is super laggy. I'm just going to turn the draw distance way down. And that only bought me about 4 frames per second. Alright, so we got that set to white. Let's make this like super contrasty. Just to see what that looks like. So we got some super deep dark shadows. Let's brighten them up a little bit. I think it might be, you know what, let's go the other way. Let's bring down all of our highlights. I think the lighting here is, again, it's something we're gonna have to really spend some time messing with. Maybe we could warm it up a little tiny bit. I'm not, you know, I really don't know. It might be better to do this on like a new map and not one that I'm totally familiar with, because I might be just trying to like copy the look. Post-processing kills frames per second. Yes, it does. I could probably turn down some stuff, so I guess maybe this is a good time to do that as well. Let's just turn down scenery and tree detail. So now what's interesting is my settings on Trainz the New Era are always maxed out as well. So clearly this is something that is Trainz 2019 related. That bought me just a couple frames per second as well. Let's go. We can turn down the post-processing, but oh, it says you need to restart the game. I don't want to do that right now, so we'll just leave it on. I'm pretty sure I usually have it on ultra. I could always go into Tane and take a look. But right now I just want to take a look at the lighting here. Let's turn down this fog density. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Oh wait, what is that? What am I looking at there? You guys see these kind of like splotchiness here? Is that... That's from the trees. All right. So I think one thing that we can all agree on right off the bat is that the grassy grass looks absolutely awful in Trainz 2019. It's just doesn't... It looks awful. Just leave it at that. So we're gonna have to probably figure out a better grass system situation. But that's, you know, not a big deal. We've got this TurfFX thing that we can take a look at and see how that goes. Let's make this not so dark. Add a little bit of blue into our fill light. So even that, I'm trying to ignore the blackness on the grassy, but I wonder if I have any. Let's put down an engine. I don't think any of my P&B engines I actually took the time to fully install. I think they're all missing assets, so At least we'll have a train to look at while we're here. Very, very lag city here. We're gonna go into one of the built-in routes and see what the performance is like there as well, but at this point this feels extremely laggy for me. 15 frames per second. I usually get 30, 40, 50, 60 frames out this way in Trainz: A New Era. So, and this isn't utilizing any of the TurfFX stuff or anything like that. So, I think that is something worth noting that we should all be aware of. Again, I mean, I guess this is still in early access, and I guess some changes could be made. So, there's still potential for that. Anyway. Let's, so I guess that's the lighting. There's really not a whole lot else to explore with that necessarily. We can kind of tune it a little tiny bit more and just kind of get more of a feel for how it is. Super, super lag central. Yeah, so that's with no fog. Let's add a little tiny bit of fog, actually. Where was it? Edit environment. Okay, so I'm clicking... Oh, there it goes. I was gonna say, I'm clicking this and nothing's happening. I think the fog is just too... It's too much. Even with it just a little tiny bit, it feels a little too oppressive. Turn our draw distance back up. We'll do 4,000. All right, so I mean, definitely getting a lot of lag, which is not good. I'm just gonna fly for a little bit here. 17, 18 frames per second, 19. I mean, these are areas that I usually get really good performance from Trainz: A New Era, which is funny to say, but definitely get much better performance. But the scenes, everything just looks kind of gray and washed out. Let me see. Let's see. One of my favorite scenes is over here. I like these farm scenes. My desktop background is actually this angle. So let's kind of see it. See, this seems like really gray and washed out. I know it's the time of day and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Let's go back and edit the environment again. Let's just change the lighting a little tiny bit and see. Now that doesn't look too terrible. Maybe if we adjust the fog, let's turn it down considerably. So it's just a little tiny bit. And I think maybe it's these billboard trees that are kind of, that I'm not liking, because the fog doesn't look bad on the 3D trees, the speed trees. But those billboard trees in the background are kind of killing me. And actually that's probably what's causing a lot of lag, because there's probably shadows being generated across all of those. All right, let's just see. So, I mean, when the light is on it, it doesn't seem that bad. When it's in shadow, it seems kind of gnarly. Let's add a point right here. And let's see. Let's see. So that's the sun color, and then this is the ambient color. We'll move along into something else in a moment here. I just want to see, just test out some of these settings here, because I don't think, from a lot of the shots that I've seen and some of the videos that N3V put out as teasers, I don't think that, I'm trying to word this the way I want to say it. The thing is, like with Trainz: A New Era, and I said it earlier, you release the tools, and then it takes a little while for people to really like figure out how to make it look the best as possible. So I think right now it's just one of those things that's just we got to figure it out. We got to see what works and what doesn't. And I can tell you right now, if I ever do a release of this, of the P&B for Trainz 19, it's going to be another long-term, you know, fix all these assets sort of thing. So anyway, I don't want to spend any more time on that. Let's exit out of here. Let's take a look at the D-Bev quickly. Wait. Select route. I want to edit it. I want to take a look at the TurfFX tools, and I think, yeah, we're gonna take a look at the TurfFX tools. So now even here, when this just loaded up, 26 frames per second, not even doing anything. That's not really a good sign in my opinion. Again, all of my graphics are maxed out, so we can go ahead and, you know, we could try dialing back some of that stuff as well and seeing how that affects the performance. Again, this is with, man, this looks awful. This is with the environmental settings right out of Tane. And I wonder, I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna try something and just ignore the performance spike that we're gonna have out of this when I do this. I am gonna do a side by side quickly. So bear with me for a moment. This is gonna be interesting. So right now I might just end up melting my computer doing this. I've got Trainz 2019 running, Trainz A New Era running, and I'm live streaming at the same time. Oh, and I have Chrome opened. Chrome is opened. All right, stand by. Let me drag this over. Okay, so let's go. Where were we? So now this is Trainz A New Era. I think we were over here. All right, so Trainz A New Era, and then pretty much the same spot in Trainz 2019. I'm gonna try to frame it up almost the same. So I wonder if I could even do this. Let's move that there. Could kind of get a feel for the difference here. Again, I do like the dark shadows, but you know, like look at the color difference between the trees. So this is exactly the same lighting settings. So we've got brighter green trees here in Trainz A New Era, and then these sort of exact same trees that are very, very dark. I kind of like the way that Trainz A New Era looks with that, but again, I think we're gonna have to play around with it a little tiny bit. Let me close this now before my computer just totally melts. All right, so that's a side by side. So let's just see really quick if we can copy that. And that should have been the exact same time of day too. I didn't check, but it should be. Let's get rid of the fog. Yeah, I'm not too sure what my opinion is on that. I'm trying to keep an open mind. So it seems like maybe we could bring back some of that. What it seems like is the shadow. What is your ambient color here, which in photography and filmmaking we would call that your fill light. That seems to be very, very contrasty. So I guess we can kind of bring that back by pumping it up, but then you lose all those nice dark shadows. So I think that somewhere in there's probably a balance. Let's pull down this red a little tiny bit. Yeah, I mean, I think with some time, we can probably get this to look all right. Again, it's definitely not the same. I mean, in Tane, I was trying to make this a very, very contrasty sort of route anyway. But, you know, I think there's going to be a problem with assets like the any of this grassy stuff. Seems like it's going to be problematic. Any of these non-3D billboard trees and shrubs and stuff like that, I think are going to be extremely problematic. They're going to be extremely problematic. So with that said, let's take a quick look at this TurfFX thing, which I have absolutely no idea where it is located in the panel here. You know what? Let's also take a quick look at the textures, these PBR textures. Wow, this lag is bad. Let's undo that. Let's do that again. Watch, this is not an illusion. This is very bad lag. That is incredibly bad lag, and my frame rate stayed at 30 frames per second. So this is lag within the game. This isn't like frame rate lag. Look at this. That is bad. That is not good. So that is straight up game lag. That is the code of the game not being able to keep up with what I'm trying to do. So that's unfortunate. I don't know if all of these are PBR. I don't know which ones are, how to know. Oh, I can do, let's do this. Let's do built-in. How do we do that? All right, so we got some PBR textures. Let's just go over here. So that is a lot of lag for sure. Can I rotate these? If I rotate them, I wonder how that will work. I don't think this is that is definitely not a PBR texture. No, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm kind of curious with these PBR textures when you hold down the bracket key and you rotate it, but what kind of effect that is going to have. I think that's a PBR texture. Let's see, this one says PBR. So that's a lag spike right there. As I'm scrolling through this, it is extremely, this is me scrolling still. Lag, 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 lag. This is all lag as I'm scrolling. It can't keep up. This was a problem in Tane as well. All right, so this is definitely a PBR texture. So now what happens when I rotate it? Does it get all kind of weird? It does. It kind of overlaps a little bit. So you can kind of see like a ghost of multiple layers of this PBR texturing. Let's see. So that is interesting. Oh well, there's actually we can actually put the grid texture back down. This is so laggy. Just trying to do texturing is. This is not an illusion. This is not broadcast lag. All right, so let's see what this looks like. Yeah, 80 frames per second, and I'm getting lag when I texture. All right, so that's definitely worth noting. That's an interesting texture there. Let's try rotating that. I'm just really curious here. And yes, I mean, I'm doing what I can to try to break the game a little bit, you know, and see what we can do. So you get this kind of ghosting with those PBR textures. So that's interesting. All right. So yeah, we wanted to look at this TurfFX thing. Where in the world would that be? Is it under this? Paste textures. This is layers. This is our Trainz. Is it under this? Aha. I think this is it. How do you work with this? Why would they put this under the topography rather than the building assets? That's what I want to know. All right, effect name. Clutter, TurfFX. Let's just call this Clutter. Okay. Clutter test. That's a new effect layer. clutter density. Default value, random rotation false, draw distance 50. What do you, oh, so then you pick the asset. How do you pick the asset? Oh, and you can't even look at it. That is bad. Come on, N3V. There's not even, you can't even preview what it is you're gonna put down? Come on. That's why this should be in this window. That should be in here. This should be under advanced. And then you select your asset. I don't know, let's try it. I think that right off the bat, that's my initial reaction, is that this is already terrible. Like, come on, like I can't look at what the asset is before I put it down? Then what? How do I do this? What did I even select? What is this? This is not user-friendly at all. Stone. Where, all right, let's find like grass. Grass, hard leafed. Okay. So now how do I do it? It just goes away. Uh-huh. Nah, this doesn't seem like a user-friendly thing at all. So you can add asset. How do I remove it though? Now I can't remove it. I added an asset. You can add a bunch, but you can't remove them. So now that's gonna be stuck there. So I can't X that out. You could change the render distance, which is interesting. What does any of this mean? Warning, you have unsaved changes to affect layer data. Okay, so then you can't even save it. If you don't put... This is not good. There needs to be a way to remove these, to delete these for one. For two, this needs to be much more user-friendly. Let's try this again. But, wait, why does this look different now? Oh boy. Okay, sure. I'm clicking, and I'm not getting anything. I'm not following any of this. I'm not following any of this at all. Like I said, I thought that this would be a little bit more user-friendly. But this literally doesn't make any sense to me at all. So let's try a different grass. Density, 10 meters, default value, whatever. I figured I could leave these things on default. I'm clicking, I'm not getting anything. You know, this is a feature that I was really excited for, because I thought that this would be a good way to do, you know, grass and shrubs and texturing and stuff like that, but this is not user-friendly whatsoever. Name, clutter test, that's the asset that we're going to use. TurfFX density. You know, like there's not really much of an explanation about what any of this means. Default value. TurfFX height. I mean, you guys can take it at face value here, you know, make your own opinions if you want, but this seems like a missed opportunity to actually, I don't know, make something that's, I don't know, something that works and is user-friendly and kind of makes sense. But I'm not understanding this at all. Anybody in the chat? I'm looking in red square. What does red square mean? Peek in the chat. Use the red oh, you mean the marquee tool? No, that doesn't do anything. It seems to disappear as soon as you do it. Do you fill it? Yeah, I don't apply. Yeah, these are the displacements, whatever. You can tell I never use these displacement maps. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. Well, blade width. So I guess the TurfFX and the Clutter are different things. I don't know why. Let's grab an asset. It's still not doing anything. So I don't know. Guys. I'm at a loss. Clutter test 2. Yeah, I'm at a loss for how this even works. What you're supposed to do with this default value. Let's just take this and make it 100. Yeah, I have no idea how this works. Let's see. What's the tutorial? I'm gonna just bring this over here. Clutter. You could do plants. Nah, I'm just totally lost on that. Where'd my window go? So you can make a whole list of the different assets that you want to use, I guess. I'm really just kind of skimming this. I'm not really reading it. Delete, add. Random rotation, draw distance, mesh assets. When you have your effect layers selected, you can then click height up tool and start painting to add clutter on the terrain. Oh, what? This is even weirder. Okay. So you use this. Aha. So we have a thing. Hang on. I mean, this still doesn't make any bit of sense whatsoever. Let's go back to this. I don't know what this slider does, but why not? I'm not getting anything down. Ooh, let's see. All right, whatever. So, I mean, that's... Take it for what you will. I don't think that that works. I'll have to play with it on my own time and see if I can make it work somehow. Because clearly it's not self-explanatory like it really should be. So that's kind of a letdown, but it doesn't... I don't know. I'm kind of a little upset about that. Upset that that doesn't work. All right, so let's take a look at the... I guess we go here, we go to routes. Let's take a look at... Wasn't there... All right, I guess Kickstarter County is all that we have built in here. Is that right? Where's this? I thought the Rocky Mountaineer was supposed to be on something. Maybe the version of... Maybe the version that they gave me doesn't have that. I'm not sure. Let's just take a look at... Let's edit the session and take a look. So like I said, I usually never even look at the built-in content in terms of routes or most of the assets and stuff that are built in. But I'm gonna take a look at this right now just for you guys to get a look at it. And I guess it's a good idea to see, you know, based on the performance, the settings that I have, and see what the performance is like. It's a bit jittery. I'm getting about 20 frames per second. Did I hear? Why did I hear a train? I'm in Surveyor. You know what? Yeah, maybe we should be... We should do this in driver mode, actually. Let's just do quick drive. I just want to take a look at what this looks like. All right. Are we? Oh, we are in driver mode. So it didn't. Are there just no trains here? So you go into quick drive and there's just nothing. All right. How do I bring that window back up? No train selected. All right. So I closed out the. I closed out that window and it's. I think it's gone. Session options? Nope. Nope. Oh wow, so that's the, this must be where you can add. No, maybe not. Hang on. All right, you know what? This is not. So once you close that window, I guess it's gone. It was none of these. So once you close your train window there, it's gone. Not liking that. We will try it again. Let's just go into this one and go to drive session. And I'm still not seeing a spot in driver where you can give your other trains AI commands, like, you know, drive to here, or navigate to here, or whatever. All right, 12 frames per second. That's good. So after this, we will exit the game, change out a few options, and then see if we can get some better performance. Couple to coaches. Yeah, so I'm still not seeing any commands here. Interesting. All right, well, what I wanted to see, I'm not gonna actually run this. I just wanted to see, I wanted to explore this map and just take a look at it. Again, this looks way too bright, in my opinion. I think the lighting is just way too punchy. Like the gamma is like, it's just way too much. Especially like in the haze and the shadows there. Like, I'm not super sure about that. Let's see what this map even looks like. So it's just a big square. Like I said, I don't even know. I know this is like Kickstarter County, like redone, but I don't even know what the original one looked like. So I have nothing to compare it to. Let's just go over here. I really just want to see what some of this stuff looks like. Yeah, I mean, the grass is cool. I guess they know how to use the TurfFX thing. 30 frames per second as I kind of come through here. It just looks way too bright for me. I wonder if I could change the time of day in here. Where was that? Yeah, I must not be able to. Just wanted to see what it might look like in different times of day. All right, so that's that. This is Kickstarter County overview. I thought there was other routes built in here, but I guess not. Let's see if we can change some settings a little tiny bit. And let's exit out of here. So let's do this. We're gonna change some settings. Let's exit, get rid of that. Let's go here. I'm gonna look at my my Trainz settings just to double check. But I just want to turn those settings down a little tiny bit and see if we can get a little bit better performance. Let's see, performance. Let's turn it to high. I actually have in Trainz, my shadow quality was on high, not ultra. Texture detail I have on high. Post-processing I kept on ultra. Water quality high. Scenery detail, yeah, we're gonna keep that. Anti-aliasing, yep. Detail uprate ultra. Okay, so I mean the only other thing that I could do is change the shadow resolution, which I don't really want to do. Let's see if that has any impact on the performance. Close that, relaunch it. And of course it wants to do this. So we're gonna be waiting on that for a minute, it seems. So far my opinion, I'm honestly trying to find the silver lining. I'm not super impressed. I think that there's probably a lot of potential in here. But so far I haven't seen anything that's really wowing me. But we'll see, you know, going forward. But my initial reaction is just kind of like ho-hum. I'm kind of, you know, if I was watching this stream, I probably wouldn't buy the game right away. I would wait, because I'm quite happy with how Trainz: A New Era is running right now, and I like the lighting and everything, and I'm pretty comfortable in that. But again, I'm anxious to see like what kind of stuff we can kind of do with Trainz 19 and push the boundaries. So I think that there's potential there, but initially it's just kind of like, nothing's really wowing me too much yet. But we'll see. We'll see. My opinion might change. We'll see what we could do. Post-processing and shadows will chew up your system resources. Yes, they will, except I mean, I have the same settings in Trainz: A New Era, and I haven't had any problems. And alternatively, my minimum computer specs are way higher than the recommended computer specs that they recommend for this game. I think the recommended computer specs for this, say like a GeForce 1050, I think, or 1060, and I've got a 1080 Ti, which is probably one of the best graphics cards that you can get your hands on right now. I also have a super fast processor that's liquid cooled, and the game is on its own SSD, so I mean it really shouldn't be any problems. But let's see. Let's go back to the P&B, since we saw what our frame rates were there, and just kind of take a look around. Am I still going to do Trainz route building? Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's going to continue to be what I'm doing. I'm not going to switch everything over. Ah, here we go. All right, now we're getting into 50, 60, 70 frames per second. That's better. That's more of what I'm used to. So one of those two settings that I adjusted seemed to have a major impact on performance. Still a little low over here in the 30s and 40s, but again, in Trainz, I get kind of a lower frame rate through here because of all the track. So this is actually not bad. This is much more usable. All right, so that did improve performance. So if it does look a little herky-jerky in the stream, that's from the broadcast, but it is actually very buttery smooth on my end here. Carlos, Charlie, what's up, dude? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you here. Good to have you. So far, I guess, you know, with these settings, that's not bad. This is more playable than what I had it. Let's turn these back up and see what happens. Yeah, so I'm still getting a pretty silky smooth frame rate here, 50 frames per second. That's not bad. All right, so that's much more tolerable. That sort of alters my opinion a little tiny bit. Kind of strange how just turning just those two things from ultra to high makes a difference like that, but that did make a difference. So I'm okay. Okay, that's fine. Good. Another thing that I wanted to explore. So there's two more things I want to do before we wrap things up here. Let's see, what were the two more things that I want to do? I want to just do like a little test build with just some built-in stuff and just see what it looks like. And I want to, let's do that. I want to see if the lighting has improved at all. Let's see, let's do create new. Do I know anything about the content creation side of things like TS12 had Content Creator Plus? There's Content Manager. It's the same as Trainz New Era. There's really nothing super great about it, but it's the same thing. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna set this to built-in. I just want to take a look at what we got here. And I'm wondering also if there's no procedural track. I wonder if they're still including this track. This track is so awful. Why is this built in? This is from, look at this rail. Guys, N3V, stop. Just stop. Get rid of the 2004 assets. Stop putting them in the new versions of the game. It makes you look like a fool. It's so bad. Let's see what else we got. This is procedural track, I'm pretty sure. Not that I really ever use procedural track, I'm just curious. And I think that they did not update this. This track is not updated with PBR ballast. So. Getting low on my coffee here. All right, so there's that. Trainz 19 track 1 procedural. Kind of interesting when you lay it out. It's just, you can't even see it. It's just this ballast pile. So that's interesting. I think that there's a lot of potential with this track, and I'm kind of excited about that. I really don't like that this is how it renders. Like, this is going to make track laying a little difficult if it's invisible when you're trying to lay it. Like, how am I supposed to line this up? So that's not, that's not bad. I think that there's a lot of potential there. People who are asset creators and making track, I think that looks really good. I would love to see more procedural track that actually works well. Because my experience with procedural track has been not very good. Usually it like kind of renders in and renders out really randomly and pixelated and polygony and stuff, but this is actually not terrible. Yeah, that's not bad. I think we can get some good. I think the future of track is looking good. Now N3V, this is the type of stuff that you should include in here, not this garbage. Like, why? Why is this here? This and this and this? Come on. Sorry. End rant. So that's interesting there. All right. So the 2019 stuff. All right, not bad. It's much better than it used to be. So I'll give them that. Let's see what this looks like. And you know what? Even with these default the default lighting here, let's put down a train car or an engine. This, these are the default lighting settings. This doesn't look too bad right now, I don't think. I mean, it's pretty similar to Trainz: New Era. So again, I mean, that kind of makes me feel a little bit more confident and comfortable that maybe we'll see. It would just take some time to actually play with it. These are old anyway, but they don't look super great, but I do know for a fact that they are like Trainz 12, basically. You know what? Let's turn that off. And I bet you the content that I installed is probably, yeah. I didn't install any of the dependencies for any of this stuff, so it's all faulty. Or missing dependencies. Alright, so we'll just leave built-in on. So, I mean, that's not, you know, whatever. That's not looking terrible. I don't want to use built-in trees. I do want to take a look at the STRMM trees. Or, yeah. Is it ST? It's ST_RMM. Because I do have some of those installed from the PNB. I just want to kind of get a look. I think this looks pretty good. These look good still. Not bad. Not bad. Let's go back to built-in. I do want to see, let's see, some of this JR stuff. These downtown buildings that I love so much. Throw a couple of these down. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking too bad. What I want to do is play with the lighting a little bit more and just kind of see, you know, what that looks like. Now, what I am interested in here with the lighting, I'm super interested to see if they added point lighting. I'm gonna bet that they did not, because that's something that I think, I've complained about this a million times before. The night lighting, what did I typed in lighting? I just need light or lamp. The lighting, the night lighting in this game is just so terrible. And I'm really kind of sick of it because you get those sort of like weird light pools, and I think it's just so bad, and it's time to update it. And I did hear that there was a mention of possibly adding point lighting, so maybe, I'm gonna say they probably didn't, but let's find out. No. Look at how bad this is. I hate night lighting in this game. This light doesn't even turn on. Oh yeah, it does. Come on. Missed opportunity right there. But I guess, you know what, that's not to say that it's not in the game necessarily. I mean, I guess maybe these assets might just not be built, but this looks like a new asset because it's got this sort of bright whatever going on here. So maybe there's point lighting in here, but if there is, it's not built in, which I think is a great tragedy. Let's take a look at this. Man, that's disappointing. That is really disappointing. All right, so let's recolor this scene a little tiny bit and just see what we can do. So normally what I do is go for like a really high contrast kind of look. Let's see, I think I'm doing this backwards than I normally do it. Yeah, I'm doing it backwards. Anyway, that's interesting. If you want to have like a monochromatic black and white looking map, you could do something like this. Well, what we want to do is dial this up a bit. You know, I want my shadows to be pretty dark, but not totally nuked. But you know, you turn up your brights kind of bright. That's a little bit too much, probably. Definitely a little bit too much. But now, what is going on here with this? Let's reset this. So like I said, I don't think that these structures were updated with PBR texturing, so but that, you know, that could be a good example of what to expect with most assets. So, but let's see. So usually go for, yeah, I think that it's going to take a lot of time to dial this sort of thing in. and get it to exactly where we like it. So that's pretty contrasty. We can even dial this down a little tiny bit, I think. Maybe a little less red. So again, I'm just kind of messing around. This is the kind of stuff that I normally do off camera, but figure you guys might want to see exactly what the what to expect from this if, you know, if you're into doing route building and stuff. I know everybody's different. There's different people that like different aspects of this game. Some people just like to drive routes. Some people build routes like me. I almost never drive. And then you've got people that just like to create assets. So I'm trying to do like an overview for everybody, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we could spend all day, you know, trying to dial this in. I can't tell you how many times I messed around with the lighting on the P&B, and I'm just, you know, never totally happy with it. Depends on my mood almost. Changes from day to day. Go for like a little bit more contrast. What's tough is to get a color balance that actually doesn't have a tint to it. That's a little bit difficult. So this is a little bit contrasty, a little bit too much, I think. I mean, in real life, you know, lighting is, the sunlight is very, very, very contrasty, so that's why I'm not opposed to having an extremely contrasty scene. Let's see if we can copy that a little tiny bit. I wish there was a way to copy these, you know, your settings from here. Like, I want this to be the same, but you have to, like, kind of go back and forth between the two. And then what did I do with my highlight here? Kind of around 1, 2 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Once you mess around with it, a little bit more fine tuning and stuff like that, I think we can get some really cool effects. Kind of bouncing between, you know, atmosphere, like, you know, fog and stuff like that, and then changing the lighting. I think we can get some cool effects. I think it's definitely possible. And again, I'm pretty wowed with some of the detail, like the schmutz on the glass and on the engine and stuff like that. Sorry, I had a tooth taken out the other day, and my mouth is not working properly since then. All right, so last thing, so the lighting kind of stinks. Night lighting, we know that. Let's just... I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to do here. I don't know. What else in the chat there? What else? Is there anything else you guys want me to take a look at? Because I think I looked at everything that I wanted to do. Take a look at. So let me know in the chat there, real quick, if there's anything else you guys want me to take a look at, or any settings you want me to mess around with. Just so I can kind of make sure I answer any questions that anybody else has. I want to make sure I cover this as comprehensively as possible. I'm glad that we were able to stabilize the frame rate a little bit. That was my biggest concern, was the amount of lag that I was getting there. Oh, this is interesting. What's going on here? So I think the load level on the track probably needs to be fixed. I definitely am not in love with the shadow rendering in, like after the rails. That they should have the same load count, I think. Road splines against the 3D ground. That could be interesting. I could put down a couple more engines that were built. I mean, we looked at the engines in the beginning, the built-in engines. So we don't really need to explore that, but I'll throw a couple down here and we can just jump in. I mean, a lot of this is, I think, old JR freeware, or even current JR freeware that they updated for the game. Can I not place this engine? place it over here. Oh, here we go. This is now, I'm lagging out bad. Yeah, look at that. That was a bad lag spike. Okay, so the roads can be glitchy with textures, huh? So let's see. The 3D textures, we'll just do... Man, yeah, that's definitely a nasty lag spike with the textures. That was the same thing with Tane, which I'm not even sure if they fixed that. So is this a 3D texture? Yes. Oh, so even now that the lag was kind of... The lag with the texturing has changed. So that's positive. That's good. Because that was really, really, really awful. Alright, so we got that. Let's find a road. You want to do a dirt road? This is like an old dirt road from like Trainz 10. Actually, we can't do this one because I think it's floating. Well, yeah, I'm kind of curious here too. If we did a fence, what does that end up looking like? Let's go on an angle so we can kind of get a... Whoa, why is that fence so bright? Oh, man. Holy crap. So these are some things they need to be fixed. I mean, I'm not sure if this is an N3V fix or if this is just the asset creator or just, you know, we need to come up with some new techniques. But man, that is just glowing. I guess we'll set this to noon. But I wanted to see exactly what happens on the ground here. So that's interesting. You can kind of see it goes above and below it. I kind of like that. I was a little worried about that. But it actually does look like it's on the ground, so that's not so bad. Let's find a road. Parking lot spline. Oh, tell me they don't have any good built-in roads. Just type in road. I'm afraid that it's just these old roads. Oops. Oh man, yeah, Deer N3V. You need some better, newer roads too. These are from Trainz 2004. This is the kind of crap that needs to just go away forever. Go into Trainz history. This is floating. This road is floating. This should not be an issue in Trainz 2019. Absolutely unbelievable. So let's look at this one. So the 3D textures don't seem too bad necessarily with the roads. I can see underneath the road in some places. So that might be a little bit problematic. Might have to just put down a layer of... You know what? Why am I looking at built-in stuff? I think I have some stuff. I have some yarn roads. Invisible. Let's see what this looks like. So this is one of these JR roads. Let's get rid of this other garbage. Alright, so this is a JR road. This isn't bad. I mean, I don't mind that the edges are kind of getting roughed up like that from the texture. Let's go diagonal across it so we can get kind of like a good feel for all the different things. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's so bad. I think I have some... No, I don't have any of the Ashoto or Eshto roads. Let's go on an angle with this one too. Yeah, so I mean, that's not... I mean, except for the points where it sort of floats. And I think that this sort of thing could be mitigated by just throwing down a non-PBR texture underneath. Like, do I have any of the too many stuff? You know, I mean, this is kind of how I do my roads anyway, for the most part. You know, you could just take a little bit of your... this sort of thing. Oh, this is interesting. So when you start mixing... Let's up the size a little bit. When you start mixing the non-PBR textures with regular textures, you start getting some strange behavior. Aha! And we're also doing this on a diagonal, which the game doesn't seem to like too much. We could also change this to 5 meter, which I think will help things a lot as well. Yeah, that's kind of a very strange effect that's happening here. Not sure really what to make of that. I am getting more lag again when we're going back to regular textures, and I think that that's because it's sort of terraforming the ground a little tiny bit along with it. So I don't know really what to make of this. If you're doing route building, like, it could be a little problematic, and I feel like let me see here. This seems very angled. Like, look at the texturing here. Like, there was that one screenshot that was going around from the video, and the ballast underneath the track was all these like rectangles like that, and that's exactly what this looks like. And I'm wondering if maybe this is sort of a side effect. Like, you could see these 90-degree angles. So that's just taking a non-PBR texture and putting it over top of a PBR texture. That's interesting. Very interesting. Definitely not very good behavior. I'm not liking that at all. But again, like, really, what sort of, how often are you going to encounter something like this is a question that I would ask myself. So for example, if you're using these PBR textures, let's clear this. Where are we? Built in. Well, we could just delete this. If you're using PBR textures, you might be doing something. I wish I had more time because I would actually build a scene. But you might have like, let's do this over here. You might put down your texture like this, like you normally would. And then, you get your fence. Let's just put together a quick scene. By the way, I'm trying to end this at about 2 o'clock or sooner because I do have plans this afternoon. So I'm gonna try to wrap things up soon. So, I mean, this is a PBR texture. Huh. Oh wait, that's what I wanted to do. Yes, I wanted a PBR texture. So you got a PBR texture here, and then, maybe your road would be next to it, over here. Got your road going by. And then, you put down your sub-road texturing. Like that. And then what do we have? Like, of course, I don't have a pick list, so I can't really investigate. Can't pick anything good. So you throw down some of your dirt. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, if you use that and you go with like some of the grass assets that I've been using for the D-Bev, something like this is non-PBR. So then when you go to apply that and it mixes, you're gonna get those polygons. Maybe not. It's hard to say. I guess the bottom line is you probably don't want to mix PBR textures with non-PBR textures, which I think is interesting. And again, I don't know if that's something that we're gonna really be able to figure out until we actually dive in and really do some route building. And then I'm curious here if we do a little, if we add like a little hill. Just a little bit of terraforming. So maybe that's not going to be so problematic. Maybe it will be really problematic. It's hard to tell right now until you actually start using it. But it seems like these two textures did blend together not too badly. Because we've got our PBR-based dirt and then our JR grass here. It does appear to be floating though. I don't know if you guys can see that in the stream, but it looks like the JR grass texture is floating above those rocks, almost like it's a see-through sheet, like a piece of silk over top of everything. So that's interesting. Again, that's something that you probably aren't going to notice unless you're right up against it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that this is something that we're gonna, as we route build, we'll kind of have to figure out how to make use of it. Like where's a good place to use these PBR textures and where not to use them. But just from this little test here, it seems like it's probably not the best idea to mix PBR and non-PBR grass. So I'm not too sure about that. I'll figure it out. I'll do the testing, guys. I'll do all the testing and let you know. And then we were gonna go into driver mode here. We'll just call it new route. You guys just wanted to take a look at the engines really quick. Blow the horn. I'm gonna guess that they might all have the same horn. So that's that. Again, you know, I think, let me go back into Surveyor. Exit driver. I want to see these driver commands thing, because if there's no AI, you know, driver command, then that's going to be kind of problematic too. But it might just be out of the session setup. Does look like it's still here. They didn't update this at all. This looks the exact same, except for this black. So this is what we should see in there, but we got our driver commands. Quick drive rule. Enable gameplay session mode. Easy, realistic, okay. Okay, so I would think that it should be... Oop, did I just hit the wrong... Okay, that was weird. I hit the X to close the game accidentally, and it actually didn't close. Alright, so I do want to see, though, like, can we say drive to here? So here's our view details. So let's say if I hit drive. Stop train. But can I give him, if I give him commands though, like what is it? It used to show like a little thing on the bottom there, like what the commands were. A queue, a command queue. And you know what? I can't really test this in here. Let's just go back to the P and B really quick. And by the way, these are the sessions that you guys are going to get with the P&B when it finally comes out. Quick Drive, well, Quick Drive's already in there. Free Play, Mill Creek Local, Old Town Local, and Vonnie Local. I'm not going to spoil anything, but these are the sessions that you will get to play. All right, so let's just go to Quick Drive. I just want to see if we could do like a navigate to, or you know, what these commands are. Has the weather changed to any? We can take a look at that quickly as well. Man, this is just so painful to look at the P&B just stripped of all of its assets once again. It's just... I have to figure that out. Anyway, let's just put down an engine or two. Okay, great. We can close that window. So if I tell him, yeah, so I don't see a queue here. I can right click and I could say, where are we here? Drive to track mark. Well, send him to Junietta. Oh, it's over here. Aha. Interesting. Okay, and there's a neat little sound effect to go with it too. I don't know if you guys can hear that little bloop. All right, it's not bad. Let's see if I do F6. All right, so F5 will hide everything. F6 does nothing, and F7 does nothing. That's a little unfortunate because in Trainz: A New Era, you could kind of alter between how much of the HUD you wanted to see. This does not give you that. So this is interesting, the little information here. Let me do something here. Let's see, enable debug features. Let's just speed things up a little tiny bit. Performance is actually not bad. I mean, there's nothing here, I guess. I'd have to like run some of the sessions and see how it goes. Sessions that I made. You get a cab view, here you go. I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit because I want to see what this is giving me, the information is down here on the bottom. So I guess it's giving me speed and signal indications. And I'm not sure what is this each mile? This 3 and then there's a 4? I mean, are these miles? Because I don't have like mile posts or mile markers or anything like that. So I'm not really too sure what to make of that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And go back into the cab. I was gonna move around in here. Pretty dark in here for the middle of the day, but you know, whatever. Yeah, it's really dark in here. I guess that's probably because of the environmental settings. Let's just come up here. Just kind of curious what this looks like. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, like I said, the potential is good for this game. I'm just gonna need to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to, you know, make use of everything. But it's interesting that this is down, that this is over here, because I didn't even see it before. So you can still just kind of click that and click it and do the thing. All right. Oh, and then you guys asked about weather. We can take a look at the weather. Can I do that from in here? Session options. There we go. I'm gonna say that the weather is probably exactly the same. This is heavy snow, apparently. I don't really see any snow. I see a lot of fog. Oh, I'm starting to see the snow falling. I don't think this is any different. It looks pretty much the same to me. Go to medium snow. Let's see what the rain looks like. Stormy rain. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I never really played with any of the weather settings in Tane, so... Ooh, there's a rain sound effect, though. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's annoying or not. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of like it. Yeah, I mean... It's not bad. This is just rain. So maybe they improved it a little tiny bit, the weather effects. I kind of hear a little bit of the rainfall still too. That's actually not bad. I like that. And then let me pause the music for a minute so we can hear it. And then I've also added birds chirping and stuff like that to the map. So that's there. So that's kind of interesting. Let's try drizzle. It's kind of peaceful with the birds chirping and stuff. Oh, I should you know what? I should be looking at the engine too. I don't know if these things actually get wet. That would be interesting. Yeah, so that's not bad, I guess. I mean, maybe they made some minor improvements to it. It's hard to say. But I think overall, again, like, I can't stress enough that, like, it's really hard for me to form like a definitive opinion on the game right now because I haven't been able to like sit and explore it for a while. Sorry, I'm getting uncomfortable in this chair. I think there's a lot of potential to it, and I think it'll be a little bit before we actually figure out, you know, exactly how to exploit the game every aspect of it, and that includes the PBR textures on assets, as well as the PBR ground textures, and anything else. So I think there's going to be a lot of time before we start seeing like really awesome quality stuff. These must be seasonal. Let's see. No. Session options. Go back to July or June or July. There we go. Put the music back on as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit before we start to see like, you know, things really take off with it. As for, you know, early access, I think $70 is really, really steep for an early access game. Like if you go on Steam and you look at other early access games, they're usually, even if they're like a AAA title, you can usually get them for $40 and then, you know, get a discount when the full thing releases, which I think is what N3V really should have done. I think that they're trying to push the whole subscription-based thing a little tiny bit. I think it could have been a little bit better explained and stuff like that, but I think $70 is a little bit steep. In terms of performance, what we started off with, I think, was a little jittery, but after we messed around with it a little tiny bit, we got the frame rate to be stabilized and stuff, and I think that that's just fine. My performance right now is pretty much on par with Trainz: The New Era, in terms of like frame rates and stuff like that. I don't know about like lag spikes, you know, when you get like those big lag spikes from stuff loading in and loading out. I can't say for sure that's something that I would have to figure out over time, just through playing and building and whatever else. In terms of like other things, like some of the additions, I think the lighting, like, again, it's good. I think we can iron out some stuff with it. The fog is a little bit too much, and maybe that's just something that needs to be updated with the assets and stuff like that. But I think the fog might be a little bit too oppressive in most cases. Let's see. I'm trying to think of my other final thoughts here. I really wish they added point lighting. If it's in here, I would have liked to have seen some assets with it built in. I think point lighting is extremely crucial to having a quality game in the year 2018, because the lighting that we have in this game is so pathetic. It's just not even funny anymore. Like, it was funny at some points, but now it's so bad. It just makes this game look silly. And I'm talking about street lights and that sort of thing. I just don't know why we can't have street lights that perform the same way that your locomotive headlight works at nighttime. I mean, maybe somebody has a really good explanation for it, but right now it just seems like they should have added that, and there's no reason not to have it in 2018, and a game that's slated to come out in 2019. The TurfFX thing, this is early access game, so N3V, if you're watching this, you need to fix that interface before you do a full release. That TurfFX interface is not intuitive in the least bit. It is very, very bad, and I have no idea how to use it. And I should be able to, I would think, for a game that boasts its ease of use for Surveyor and being the only train simulator out there with a Surveyor option that is as easy to use and as intuitive as it is, something like the TurfFX option should be just as intuitive and easy to use and self-explanatory. I should be able to just pick it up and use it. And, you know, I'm not gonna say, you know, I'm the greatest out there for, you know, you knowing how to exploit this game and stuff like that, but I feel like if I can't figure out how to use it, with over 100 people watching a live stream with me, and we can't figure it out together, then something is not right. You know, you got to work on that. But I think those are my major takeaways. Again, I mean, I just can't stress enough that I think that there's going to be a little bit of time where we going to have to spend some time to actually figure out how to make the game look really good. The same thing happened with Trainz: The New Era when it came out. Nobody knew how to adjust the lighting and the colors and use the post-processing and all that kind of stuff. So once we figured that out, then things really improved and took off from there. All that said, as of right now, I'm not going to be moving to Trainz 19 to do building. Maybe I'll do like a one-off series here and there to kind of just get started. but I'm already up to my ears still in route builds for Trainz A New Era, and that includes the D-Bev and the Pennsylvania Berwind. And that is where they will stay for a little while. Like, maybe eventually we'll move the D-Bev into Trainz 19. But that's still yet to be determined. But I think that's it. Unless anybody has any final questions or anything like that, I think that's my major takeaway, and I'm probably going to wrap it up unless you guys have something else. I see you guys in the chat asking about the crash physics. I'm going to guess that it's probably exactly the same as it's always been in Trainz 12 and Trainz A New Era. That's not something that's on their priority list. I know that for a fact. If you have Trainz 12 and you're looking to upgrade, and you're wondering if you should skip Trainz A New Era and just jump to Trainz 19, I would say it could be worth it. You probably want to make sure that your computer specs are up to par in order to run it, because I know the TurfFX thing is only available for higher end graphics cards. Oh, the Discord link too, yeah. So that's something worth keeping in mind. Let's see, I'm going to give you guys the Discord link. Mods, stand by for incoming people. How do I do this again? I always forget how to do this. Invite people. No. All right, copy. This invite is gonna be good for 1 day. Yeah, if you're gonna move from Trainz 12 to Trainz 19, I would anticipate a lot of issues. I mean, just going from Trainz 12 to Trainz A New Era, I had a lot of issues with the P&B and stuff. So, just prepare yourselves for that. Again, I mean, just look at the P&B here. This is not missing anything in Trainz A New Era, and you can see all the empty spaces here, the empty buildings, missing track, and this is installing content packs full of all my third-party stuff. So that includes all the JR stuff, anything that I used and sourced from anywhere else. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that's missing here. Again, I have to figure out how to address that, but I know for a fact that the P&B works fine in Tane, and other people have had no problems installing it and running it so far. So that's that. All right, so I think that is going to do it for today, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I'll be back in doing some normal videos again, probably in the next couple weeks. P&B is slated to release sometime in early September, early or mid-September. It depends on how much is screwed up in terms of like beta testing and stuff like that. I've got some guys at JR that are testing it, some other people that are testing the sessions and the route. So assuming that there's not any major bottlenecks or anything like that, the P&B should be out very soon. And then once that is done, I can actually move on and get back into doing videos like normally again. So the next project after that will be the D-Bev route. And then we'll see what else. We'll see what else happens after that. I've got some other ideas in my head for things to do. So I'll be back with normal content again soon. I got to try to do some more live streams as well. But again, I've been really busy with work and just trying to get the P&B ready to come out, because I feel like I've been saying for forever, the P&B, it's going to come out next month. It's coming, and then it's, whatever. So it's done this time. It's to the point where I'm not touching it anymore. So, unless there's something major to fix. But that's going to do it for today, guys. I hope you got something useful out of this live stream and learned a thing or two, and are just as excited for what we could possibly do with Trainz 2019 as I am. But that said, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you guys hopefully pretty soon. Take it easy.